Hi guys, brace yourself for the best or my family's most favorite Louisiana dish. I'm going to show you how to make a creamy Cajun chicken and sausage pasta. I am going to start by slicing my andouille smoked sausage in quarters. So basically, I just cut the lengths in pieces, round pieces, and then I took that, I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again. Now, the reason that I'm cutting the sausage a little bit smaller than I would say in a gumbo or even maybe jambalaya is because this is a pasta dish, and I don't like super big pieces of meat in pasta. I need it to be small bite-sized pieces of protein in my pasta. It just to me makes the dish way more cohesive. So I'm going to take that sausage and I'm going to put it into a nonstick. I have a very large skillet here because I'm going to be making everything in this skillet except for obviously the pasta. So I put all that sausage in there. You can see that we're going to get some fat rendered out of it. That's what we're looking for. We're also looking to develop a little bit of color. Every single element of this dish we want to develop flavor. So I laid out my chicken breast. This is 14 of this boneless, skinless chicken and breast tenderloins, and I'm just seasoning them with onion powder, garlic powder, and some Tony's Cajun seasoning salt. And I'm going to season both sides, but on the cutting board, I'm only seasoning one side for obvious reasons. I don't want to waste that seasoning. So I'm going to take the sausage out of the skillet once it's got little brown bits, and then you can see that oil left over from the sausage in the pan. I'm going to add seasoned side down my chicken, and then once it's all in there, and y'all, I have a big enough skillet for 14 of these tenderloins, then I'm going to take the remaining of my seasoning and I'm going to sprinkle on all sides, and I used all of that seasoning for all of the chicken. Now, I did notice that my chicken needed a little bit of extra oil. There wasn't enough fat rendered, so I did add about a tablespoon of avocado oil into that chicken. Now, while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to move on to the next step, which is prepping my veggies. And here I'm just dicing up a yellow onion. And look at that beautiful crust, that color that we have developed on that chicken with that seasoning. It's going to be so delicious. And although I'm probably going to get it cooked completely through, it really doesn't matter because once I chop it up and put it in the sauce, it will definitely finish there. So I'm moving back to my veggies and I'm going to slice my red and green bell pepper. I'm not chopping them. I like to have pretty large pieces because some of my family picks them out, but I like the flavor. So I keep the bell pepper pieces pretty large, but they are thinly sliced. Something else I would like to point out, maybe you've already noticed, is I like to have multiple things going at one time so there's no wasted time. So like while my chicken was cooking, I was prepping my veggies. While my sausage was cooking, I was prepping my chicken. So that really helps on the amount of time it takes to make a dish. So I took the chicken out and then I'm going to add in all of those vegetables, that onion and the bell peppers, and I'm going to put in half of the stick of butter to help this cook. So here's another example. While my vegetables are cooking in the butter, I'm going to go ahead and slice up all of my chicken and have it ready to move to the next step. So I'm just cutting or slicing my chicken into bite-sized pieces, similar to the size of the andouille sausage. You want everything to be about the same. And I'm cooking those veggies down in that butter. I don't want them to develop any color. I just want the onion to become translucent. And I like my peppers to still have a little bit of crunch. So they're softening just a little bit. Now, if you don't want any texture at all, by all means, you can keep cooking. Then I added, of course, my pasta to the water. I wanted to do that about this point, so they're done about the same time. Then I added the remaining half stick of butter to my skillet, and I'm going to sprinkle in about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And I'm going to use my whisk to incorporate. Now, I'm not looking to get any color in this roux. This is going to be the thickening agent for our homemade alfredo sauce. So I'm just whisking to get rid of any lumps. And then I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and whisk again. I like my homemade alfredo or my creamy Cajun sauce to have a very present garlic flavor. That's why I used it in the chicken and also in the sauce. Then I'm going to whisk in the entire container of heavy whipping cream. Again, whisking while you're adding a cold ingredient to warm ingredients will help to keep those lumps from forming. So we're going to add the entire thing and get that combined. And then I'm going to add my grated Parmesan cheese. Again, we're going to whisk until that's completely combined and make sure there are no lumps. Then it's time to start adding back our ingredients. I'm adding back the veggies, I'm adding back the sausage, I'm going to add in the sliced or kind of shredded cooked chicken, and I'm going to stir everything and get it very combined. And this is the point where we're going to add the remaining ingredients to season, and we're going to taste. So before I add my pasta, I want to make sure that all of my flavors in my sauce are good to go. The first thing I'm going to add is some red pepper flakes for heat. Now, I put in the recipe you can do this to taste because only you know your heat tolerance. I did add about 2 more teaspoons of Tony seasoning because I did not salt the water in my pasta, and that's on purpose. And then I added black pepper to taste. Every time you make a white sauce, like a white gravy or anything, you need black pepper. So after that is incorporated, I tasted it. I love the way the sauce was. Then it was time for me to add my cooked penne. I stirred my sauce and my penne really well so that everything was incorporated, and I topped it with some chopped fresh green onions. I just love the pop of green on top. You guys, you have to make this. You have to.